Hello, I am Razar, and we are in No Man's Sky. Now, I've had this game for a little bit, and I've been playing it for a while, and I figured I'd do a quick review on it. I do have mods installed, mainly because, well, even with the new update called Next, N-E-X-T, for No Man's Sky, there's still some things in the game that really bug me. I'm going to be doing a series on this, but for right now, I'm going to go into this save here. Now, this save is one that I just started yesterday. It will take a while for it to load. I am going to go ahead and skip this because it takes a long time on the load screens. So I'll be right back. And here we are, still rendering some of the stuff. But I jumped up on top of my ship, but this is what I want to show you. One of the things I did was I put a mod on that keeps me from taking damage when I fall from any height. The reason I did that, I was up here on top of my ship and I walked off and took fall damage. Where you take fall damage is very inconsistent in this game. 1 minute you'll be walking off of a cliff face that's only about this high and you won't take damage. Next minute you walk off the top of your ship or something like that and you'll take damage. It's very inconsistent. Another thing that the mod does is it actually makes a jetpack useful. As you can see, the speed I've got with it. The jetpack as it is without the mod is very well, the best way of saying it is lackluster. I mean, it's not really that good of a jetpack. It needed something. It needed some kind of help. And that's what this mod does. I will put the link to the mod in the description. But it does a couple of things. It gives you more thrust. The mod also keeps you from taking fall damage. Now, it is a little ridiculous in that you can jump, like you can use your jump pack from up here and you don't take damage when you fall. That is a bit ridiculous on this, but it was the only mod that I could find that actually made the jetpack useful and kept me from taking fall damage from just walking off the top of my ship or something like that. So it is more of a practical type use. I have not modded any of my storage compartments or anything like that. I'm not doing that. Most of the mods that I've used are for well, basically they're just, I actually got this Omni tool from a mission. But it's actually just, well, plain and simple, the mods are just to make the game more of a actual game. There are certain things that this game does that really don't make sense, like the fall damage from small heights, inconsistencies in that. There's a few graphic inconsistencies that pop up every once in a while. But I haven't modded anything for like a major cheat or anything. For example, the damage that I take is like if I get attacked, the damage I take is the same as if I didn't have any mods. The damage I deal out if I'm trying to attack something is the same. That hasn't been changed. I have not changed my hyperspace jump range, but I did change the cost of the fuel for taking off for the launch, because I thought it was ridiculous that every time you launched it used 50% of your fuel when you're not, like when you're out in the open like this. But if you're near specific locations or you're on the landing pad, it didn't use any fuel at all. So the mod I've got now, it only costs 5% of my fuel to take off. So if you look, I can do a lot of jumps. It only takes 5% every time I lift off. I've got that mod, which is really good. The pulse engines, I don't have a mod for them. They use up the same amount. My hyperspace engines, whenever I restarted this one, but I do have another save where I've got hyperspace engines, or hyperdrive engines. I haven't modded them. It uses the same amount of fuel every time. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like cheat the game to make it like way too easy. But this jetpack does make it easier to travel faster, longer distance quicker, especially if you use the ability that's already in the game, where you jump and hit the melee button and it causes you to dash forward. So that's me doing the dash forward with a full charge on the jetpack. This is me just hitting the button, so you can see the difference. I'm pushing forward and hitting the button versus the didn't do it. Versus the dash forward, like this. So you can tell there is a difference in it. I also have a mod that keeps the sentinels from coming out as often, but I don't think that mod is working with this next update, because I have seen just as many sentinels with the mod as I have seen without the mod, even starting a whole new game. And there's a funky looking kind of ostrich slash dinosaur type things. These don't even have head on them. Alright, that's walking around without a head. Oh no, there's his head. That's a spike on top of his head. Wow. It's, what is that? Is that a giant grasshopper combined with other stuff? I love how the different things combine in this game. Ooh, yep, okay, that hit me. I just like how it combines things in this game. It is so cool. Now the head on it looks similar to the head on these things. The way the eyes are on it. Now those things there are aggressive. They'll actually chase down other creatures, as you see. They'll actually chase them down, they'll kill them, and they'll start eating them. So if you look, yeah. It's eating its butt, okay. But yeah, they will, if there are aggressive ones, they'll actually eat others. If you look on the left, it shows there aggressive is the behavior. They'll actually hunt down other animals. Whoa, okay. And occasionally, they have come after me for no reason at all, so. But yeah, this game is really nice. I got it, my brother got it for me actually. I wanted to get it now that they've done the new updates for it. For next, they've added multiplayer, true multiplayer, which is what it was advertised to come out with when the game first launched. So I'm glad that they finally put that in the game. I was waiting on it, plus I was waiting on improvements, because when the game first launched, I can honestly say that, you know, I'm not the only one that was disappointed in it. But I didn't pre-order it. Something seemed a little fishy about it when I first started watching the interviews and stuff. So I didn't want to get it then, and I'm glad I didn't. Because there were some things that were misrepresented in it, as everybody knows. I won't go into all of those. But yeah, it's improved. It's a totally different game than what it was. And I like it. You can call in your ship once you get it fixed up. There are some problems with things like on your map, the icons and stuff. Like if you scan, half the time it doesn't even find stuff. Other times, like right here, oops, see, I hit the button to tell it to select that as my location, and it landed me. Okay, and now as you can see, that location is gone. It's no longer showing up on my head. See, I have to do a whole other scan again just to get it to show up, and half the time I'll do a scan again and it won't even show up. So here we go, unknown building. See, that same button right there is the same one that you used to land in. So you have to reconfigure your buttons yourself if you don't want to run into problems with that. Also, there's no way of marking a place that you've been, like putting a waypoint or something like that so you can go back to it. There have been outposts and things like that I've wanted to come back to, but there is no way of finding where you've been to. So what I've been doing is I've been collecting copper. It's kind of a little bit of a cheat. This is actually where I was a while ago before I left. But, oh no, actually this is a new one. But basically what I've been doing, if I wanted to get back to a location again, I have been collecting copper and using the refiner. And using the refiner, you can turn it into chromatic metal. And once you have chromatic metal, you can then come in here and you can build a base computer. Okay. There we go. You build your base computer. You activate it. And then you tell it to claim the base. When you do that, it puts you a base here. You can have multiple bases on the same planet. So anytime you see a point of interest that you want to keep, or you want to be able to get back to, you just do that, and now you've got it. You can always come back to it. But you can't remove it. I haven't found out how to remove the thing. I don't think you can once you take it. Might be able to delete base. See if that works. Okay. Yeah, see that took the whole thing, and I lost my chromatic metal. It did not put the thing back in my inventory, so you will lose the chromatic metal and you'll lose the base computer if you do that, apparently. But if you have a whole bunch of bases because you're using them as waypoints or markers throughout the whole planet, and you want to get rid of the clutter, you can remove them. But I basically just set them up at outpost. If there's something that I want to get back to, like sometimes there's drop pods that have exosuits upgrades in them, and you have to repair them, so I don't always have all the stuff on me to repair them. So what I'll do is I'll pop a base computer there, activate a base on that location, and then I can always come back to it later after I get the supplies. So that's one of the things that I've been doing. It definitely helps out, especially since a lot of times things like this will not show up again on your HUD if you do a scan. I have scanned for facilities, like I've been in space before and I've done a scan. Look at those floating there. But I've been in space before and I did a scan that showed up an outpost. And I go back in space after leaving there and I want to go back. And so I scan again, and I don't get an outpost. Instead of getting scanning and finding an outpost, it just finds nothing. It just doesn't do anything. So it's all kind of random what does and doesn't show up. It's not consistent, which is a big problem with the game. Another thing is while you're on foot, if you activate your scanner, like I just did, Which, by the way, that reminds me, I do have a mod that, the mod that I've got will, quickly refresh how soon I can scan. It also increases the range on it. But, like here, you see these resources here. Well, sometimes it doesn't even show up all of those resources. So, I'm looking over here and I see all these resources. I could be heading over there, and I may end up finding half a dozen other resources that don't even show up between here and there. Now, it's not going to show resources like if you scan a, like if you mine a rock or something, or a tree, like this right here. This, it actually shows up sometimes. Like right there, it's got an H. Other times, it doesn't show up any of them. These rocks here, sometimes it doesn't show up all of those. If you look right here, this one, it's not going to show up those at all. But things like that, things like this plant here, are all over the place, so it's not really a big issue. But those other things like these here, if you look, it's showing this, but it's not showing right here an oxygen plant. So you still have to be alert. You still have to keep searching with your eyes, panning your camera around. See, now it's showing up this one, but it didn't a little while ago. So yeah, your scanners need some work to them. I don't know if anybody's got a mod that makes the scanners more useful or not. But that is one of the things that I think really should be done with the game to improve it, make the scanners more beneficial. There are things also that if you look through it with your goggles will sometimes, or your helmet will sometimes show up, other times they won't. Here's a first aid station, or first aid box. Now sometimes these first aid things here won't even show up as a first aid. See how it says health underneath? Sometimes it's got a bunch of question marks, and if you select it, like you open it, you may end up getting health and you didn't need it. But yeah, I mean, it is a huge improvement over what was originally done when it was released. Does it still need some work? Of course. Every game that starts out can use improvements along the way. Assuming that any game is going to be perfect when it launches is just not realistic. But that doesn't mean that the game doesn't need a lot of work done to it. There are some areas that still need a lot of work. Am I happy with the game? Of course. I wouldn't have spent so much time in the game if I wasn't happy with it, if I didn't enjoy it. It is very much a fun game to play around with. Maybe not for the individuals that pre-ordered it or bought it when it first came out. For them, they may still be a bit sore, which I could understand, because it was done in a very deceptive way. But it could be worse. Right now, see, now these things here, on one of the planets I was on, those planets curled the other way. They were vertical. Here they are horizontal. But yeah, the game is fun. Needs some work. All games do, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being worst, 10 being the best, I would rate this game probably about a 7 right now. A 6 or a 7. Needs some work done to it. Once some of the things are improved, once it's up to where it's working in a way that's more optimal without having to use mods to fix things that shouldn't be a problem, the score would go up higher. But overall, I think it's worth getting if it's on sale. I wouldn't get it at the full regular price, but I would get it when it's on sale. It recently was on Steam, which is why my brother got it for me. I asked him to, and he was willing to get it for me while it was on sale. But I'm going to be doing a series on it. Really enjoy it, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you later. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.